We're here with women's head basketball coach Lynn Kennedy. The Vikings just got back from practice up at Lewis and Clark College, where they will take on the Sacramento State Hornets this weekend to open Big Sky Conference play. Before we get to that, we'll revisit a little bit our non-conference schedule. The Vikings are currently 6-5 after non-conference schedule, coming off a great win against the Ole Miss Rebels. Vikings beat them 94-79 last week. Coach, talk to me a little bit about non-conference play and finishing off with a nice win against Ole Miss heading into Big Sky Conference.
Well, I think we approached this non-conference season. We had a lot of veterans coming back, so we wanted to step up our conference play in terms of teams we were playing. We knew we were going to be on the road a lot going into this year with the arena still yet to be completed. So being on the road, playing against tougher opponents, trying to get ready for the Big Sky Conference season, I think it's a tough task, and we went into it. We were started off tough games against some tough opponents early on. Didn't get those wins early, but then you can see in the last few weeks how we've kind of come together as a team, either getting down or coming back in a game or being up by a lot of points and having them come back. We've been able to close out these wins early on against really NCAA tournament opponents, teams that have been in the postseason. So that's been nice to see from our young team to be able to change our position here in the non-conference season. I think the Ole Miss game kind of just summed up our non-conference season. We'd played tough opponents. They were coming in off a tough loss against Oregon, but we were motivated. We wanted to compete against the best teams in the country and to play those teams and to be able to play at home, even though it wasn't our home court. That was nice for us to play an opponent like that and to be able to get a win. They made a great run in the second half, but I like our composure. It felt like a conference game, with them making that run in the second half, and for us to be able to, meet that challenge as far as them coming back and then being able to close it out in the fourth quarter. I feel like that really got us ready for the conference season. Now it's completely different. You're facing the teams we face all the time in conference season, and so now the challenge is we need to step up on Saturday.
A couple of key highlights from the non-conference season so far. The Vikings are 6-5 overall, 3-0 at home. Sydney Riley leads the Big Sky Conference with 20.5 points per game this season. And we're currently on a 3-game win streak heading into non-conference play. Talk a little bit about Sydney and her play this year and some of the returners who have made their mark so far.
Well, I think, with Sydney, we had a lot to work on this offseason as far as we knew that she had the ability to shoot the ball. I think developing her game, she gets on the fast break, she gets easy opportunities there. She's got a great shot, but then also developing that attack to the basket. If she can be able to get to the basket, get to the free throw line, that just really helps her offensively in her offensive game. And then she stepped up defensively too. I think she's playing a lot more aggressive, more intense, and her rebounding, it definitely shows. Ashley Bolston, getting her back the last few games, it was tough early on without her, and her injury prevented her from being out there. But I think we also had other people step up and provided sparks at different times. Courtney West still is a presence in the middle for us, her block shot record. And now she's, stepping up her game as far as offensively hitting her shot as well. So I think when you look at those three coming really back from last year in their leadership roles, you can tell our team is kind of centered around those three, but we've also had some other people step up too.
The Vikings have their core three back from last year, but have also had some nice additions to the ranks this season. Talk about some of the additions that we've had and some of the impacts that they've made so far.
Well, I think you look at our transfer, Kiana Brown. Early on, she was getting the start because Ashley was out, and she stepped up in that role and provided us really a scoring punch that we didn't have last year. And now coming off the bench, she gave us some great minutes against Ole Miss, and just the ability to shoot the ball, attack the basket, and then defensively she can play really multiple positions. Kylie Jimenez has stepped up too as a freshman point guard in this league. Is tough. I mean, that's a tough thing to put on a player coming in, first-year player, and I think she's embraced the challenge. She's a knockdown shooter. She has an attack to the basket, and really defensively, she's one of the ones that we rely on to play full court a lot of times. And when we do play full court pressing in our defensive sets, going back to other players that have made an impact, really Corey James, she's playing through injuries as well, and she's stepped up, and she's either come off the bench or started a lot of games for us this year. She hit some big threes against Portland. She's stabilized us in a lot of games where we weren't sure if we were in the game or out of the game, and she's kind of come through in clutch positions for us. I think Pia Johar has also come on and gave us some great minutes too as well. So you start looking at the team as a whole. We have some young players that have stepped up, but we also have some veterans that stepped up too. And we it's a team. As a team, we can win, and we know that going into conference season now.
The Vikings are riding their 3-game win streak into the Big Sky Conference play, where they'll start with 3 straight home games beginning this week with Sacramento State. Coach, talk to me a little bit about Sacramento State and what you've seen so far and kind of what we have seen from them in the past.
Yeah, I think you know what you're going to get with Sac State. It's going to be really full court pressure all the time. They really rely on their full court pressure defensively to kind of turn that attack into easy offensive opportunities. It feels like there's 6 or 7 players out there at all times defensively because they press, quick, athletic, and they really try to turn you over to create really their offensive possessions. They're shooting the ball extremely well again this year. They rely on, really it's an outside-in opportunity where they establish their three-point shooting, and then they can get to the basket as well. You know, you look at their guards, and you're like, man, they can attack, but they can also shoot threes. So it's hard defensively. It's a hard challenge because if you do take away the drive, they're going to knock down shots. If you take away the three, they'll attack the basket. I feel like this year their posts have probably made the most improvement. They've gotten better post players now where they can step out, hit threes, but they also are really good low post players, and they haven't had that in the past. It's usually been one could shoot, one could play low post. I think they have combination post players that can do both now. So it's going to be a tough challenge. They've played probably the toughest schedule in our conference as far as preseason, playing Kentucky and West Virginia. That's tough. It's tough to come in, but I think they do have some confidence coming into this game because they've played against those teams and they've played them tough. So it'll be a great challenge for us Saturday.
The Vikings and Hornets square off this weekend at Lewis and Clark College beginning at 1 p.m. For more information, visit govikes.com.